Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in. Hope this video helps some people in the future. And I also plan on making some more content for you guys very, very soon, so stay tuned.
Start off the install by using a floor jack to jack the car up onto jack stands. Get a second jack stand up under the front subframe notch. In the event that the vehicle comes crashing down, this will support it. Unscrew the brake fluid reservoir in the engine bay. Take off the wheel using a 17mm wrench. Do not leave the lug nuts on the floor and make sure to keep track of them. Get in your vehicle and turn the wheel so your caliper is facing outwards. You'll now have a much easier time accessing these 13mm bolts. If you're working on the driver's side of the vehicle, you'll need to both locate and unplug the brake wear sensor. Unclip the caliper metal bracket. Locate the upper 13mm bolt on the caliper. Locate the lower 13mm bolt. Next, slowly shimmy off the caliper from the rotor. You will need to use a medium amount of force. Absolutely do not leave the caliper hanging off by the brake lines. There's no perfect way to do this, but I used a combination of shop towels and coat hangers to support it. Next, you will be moving on to the 21mm bolts on the back side of the caliper. If your A4 is as old as mine, you'll absolutely need some form of penetrating catalyst to soak in on these bolts. Of course, a persuader bar is also a must for proper leverage. As you'll see in a minute, these bolts were quite long and took a few minutes to unscrew. Once the bolts are loose enough, you should be able to unscrew them directly by hand. Now you will be able to remove the brake caliper bracket. Next, locate the T30 Torx in the center of the rotor. This will be the last bolt holding the rotor to your vehicle. If you daily drive your vehicle in the salt and the snow, it's very likely that you will need a mallet to break it free. And she's off. Now you can start sanding down the center vehicle hub. Depending on both the year and mileage of your vehicle, you might have more or less surface rust than I did. Completely clean this up before you install the new rotor. Quick tip when installing this new rotor, make sure to have that T30 Torx ready along with the wrench. You'll need it immediately. The drilled and slotted rotors look 10 times better than the OEM. Now we will be moving on to reinstalling the caliper bracket. Again, you will want to heavily sand this with both a wire brush and sandpaper. Reinstall the bracket along with the 21mm bolts. Re-grease the brake pad contact points as shown in this video. Install your new brake pads and again, re-grease those contact points. Next, you'll want to wind back the caliper with a clamp and install the new brake pads. Now you can move forward with reinstalling the caliper. Before you move forward with reinstalling the two 13mm bolts, you'll need to check the rubber grommet seals to make sure they move freely and are not stiff. It's always a good idea to re-grease them. Reinstall the caliper clip that you set aside before. Turn the ignition on so the steering wheel does not lock and move the rotor back to the center position. Spraying WD-40 will help with guiding the 17mm lug nuts. Make sure to guide all 5 lug nuts in by hand to ensure that you are not cross-threading. Use a star pattern to properly torque the lug nuts. Once the vehicle is on the ground, double check the tightness with a 17mm wrench and a persuader bar.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in. Hope this video helps some people in the future. And I also plan on making some more content for you guys very, very soon, so stay tuned.